Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ambassador Burns, nice to have you here today. I'd like to talk with you about China's strategy to dominate the 21st century. We just learned over the weekend that China has deployed for the first time what's known as a hypersonic glide missile. As the Financial Times reported, I'm going to quote, China tested a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile in August that circled the globe before speeding toward its target, demonstrating an advanced space capability that caught U.S. intelligence by surprise. If China deployed hypersonic glide vehicles, this would enable China to circumvent U.S. ballistic missile defenses and strike the U.S. homeland without warning. Ambassador Burns, this new military capability is deeply worrisome. But I believe the even bigger alarm is continued complacency about China, complacency that we still see far too much in the national security establishment here in America. We see this when China probes and menaces our democratic ally, Taiwan, and the administration responds with silence or with presidential talk about a so-called Taiwan agreement that doesn't exist. Xi Jinping has made clear that the Chinese Communist Party has a plan for China to dominate the world diplomatically, economically, technologically, and militarily. Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party want to achieve dominance and displace the United States by 2049, the 100-year anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China. And they're certainly locking in every advantage that they can along the way. President Trump awakened our nation to the Chinese threat, and the Biden administration has inherited a very strong China strategy, one that I helped to craft and implement when I served as U.S. Ambassador to Japan. As part of the China strategy, the Trump administration also rightly determined that China is engaged in genocide and crimes against humanity with the Uyghur population and other Muslims that live in the Xinjiang province. I worry that the Biden administration will try to strike some sort of naive grand bargain on climate or other issues with China that effectively might erase the strong position that we have with China today. Such a naive deal could significantly weaken our energy independence. Meanwhile, China will continue to burn more coal and emit more greenhouse gases than all of the developed world combined, with an unenforceable pledge to reduce their carbon footprint at some undetermined time in the future. Ambassador Burns, that's my view of what's at stake strategically, but let's focus on China's immediate threat with respect to Taiwan. It's clear that the Chinese Communist Party is stepping up its military posture in the Taiwan Strait. The world's alarmed, and Taiwan could be the first domino to fall in the Indo-Pacific. Ambassador, what's your view on the Taiwan issue? And should the United States revisit the issue of strategic ambiguity with respect to Taiwan?
Senator, thank you, and thank you for your service as a U.S. Ambassador to Japan. I agree with you that China is our strongest, I would say most dangerous competitor in the world. President Biden has followed a very tough-minded policy against China. I counted up yesterday at least 15 sanctions or executive orders limiting the ability of the Chinese government to be influential around the world or in our own society. So I think there's been, under President Obama, President Trump, now President Biden, an increasing emphasis on what we need to do to limit China. And President Biden's policy is very tough and very strong. On Taiwan, we need to do multiple things. We need to strengthen our commitment to Taiwan's security under the Taiwan Relations Act. The Biden administration proposed the sale of A109A6 howitzers this past spring, a $750 million deal that would help the Taiwan authorities to defend themselves. There's substantial leverage in the Taiwan Relations Act available to the executive and legislative branches to continue to provide arms sales for defensive purposes, defense articles and services to Taiwan. And maybe the most important thing we can do is maintain a strong American military deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. You were part of that as ambassador. Our alliance with Japan, our alliance with the Republic of Korea, our alliance with Australia, the presence of our Navy and Air Force at Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, our rotational deployments, of course, our deployments through the international waters of the South China Sea. This is all-encompassing strategy designed to support our side and to strengthen our ability to help Taiwan defend itself.
I agree with you on our military strategy and our posture. We need to maintain it. We need to strengthen it. I am interested still, though, in your view on whether we should revisit our posture of strategic ambiguity, how we talk about the Taiwan situation.
This is an important question. My own view is that we're better off and will be more effective in staying with the one China policy of the last 4 decades. We recognize the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China. And yet we have unofficial relations with Taiwan, and we have under the Taiwan Relations Act the ability, in fact the imperative, of helping Taiwan to defend itself. Every president, Republican and Democrat, has followed that policy in the face of the Chinese buildup, and they're more aggressive now. That is the best way for us to strengthen the ability of Taiwan to defend itself.
My time has come to a close. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.